Hi everyone, welcome to the Ever-Seeking Empath. I'm a reader who uses tarot, oracle, and charms, and today's reading is about creativity. I just wanted to kind of get some creative advice for you. I'm still not really sure what I'm going to title this video, but I just kind of want to see what the cards and the charms have to say to you today about your creativity, whether that's working on a creative project or just bringing more creativity into your life somehow or trying to get that creative spark back. I just wanted to get some advice for you. So before we get started, I want to remind everyone that this is a general reading, so it might not resonate for everybody, it might not resonate for you, so just take the messages that you feel are meant for you and disregard the rest. Also, if you enjoy this video, please hit that like button for me and subscribe to my channel if you've not already done so, because it really does help out the channel a lot, and then you get to see when I've posted new content right away. It just really helps with that YouTube algorithm, and then I get to be seen by more people, and I really, really appreciate the people who have already subscribed. I appreciate it so much. Yeah. So, we have 3 piles here today, as per usual. We've got these little Sweet Dreams cards on here. So, pile number 1, we have Flow. I now open myself to inspiration and watch creativity flow through me. Pile 2, we have Guidance. My dreams give me inspiration and guidance. And pile 3, we have Timing. The timing is just right for my dreams, desires, and goals to manifest. So just let your intuition guide you to a pile. I'm going to put timestamps in the description box and in the comments below, and we are going to get started now with pile number 1. Hi Group 1. So if you chose the card that says Flow, then this is your message. So let's figure out what creative advice you need. We are going to start with your tarot and oracle cards first and then do your charms at the end, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. So for your tarot, you have the 6 of Acorns, Success and Triumph, so that is the 6 of Wands. Queen of Acorns, so Queen of Wands, Passion and Creativity, perfect for a creative reading. King of Acorns, Optimism and Innovation, so again, King of Wands. And then you have 6 of Feathers, Transition and Insight. So, I mean, you've got a lot of creative energies here with the Acorns or Wands suit. That's very creative energy. We obviously have passion and creativity, optimism and innovation. And I love that you have the King and Queen of Acorns, and then you have 2 6s as well. So I feel like you're transitioning into a time that's a lot more harmonious. You might be feeling a lot more creative right now. You might be feeling like your creativity is starting to flow because you do have that flow card. So I feel like a lot of you might be feeling like a creative block has been lifted. And with the King and Queen of Acorns, I'm feeling like a lot of you might actually have a creative partner to work with. So somebody that just seems to kind of complement you and really bring out whatever you're missing in this creative project. But I do think that you are going to see success very soon for this. So whether that's just you're finishing something that you started a long time ago, that creative block is being lifted and you just feel really inspired and creative right now, or maybe you will see kind of the fruits of your labor. Maybe you're going to start getting that recognition because you do have the Success and Triumph. You know, that's a lot of the time public recognition. You might be getting some money for your creative pursuits, things like that. So let's check your oracle cards. You have Adventure, Dare to do things differently, manifest your travel dreams, move to a new location. Okay, so daring to do things differently says to me that maybe with that creative block being lifted, you're realizing that you need to do things a little bit of a different way, or you found a new way that works a lot better for you when you've been trying to do things a specific way, and this is now working a lot better for you. Also, manifesting your travel dreams, move to a new location is really kind of bringing to mind the 6 of Feathers, because that 6 of Swords energy is oftentimes about moving. It's moving to a new location. It's leaving what is a little more tumultuous and doesn't work as well for you in favor of somewhere that's a lot more harmonious. You have the Lady of the Gift, Generosity, Receiving, Withholding, number 20. So I feel like generosity might kind of relate to whoever this creative partner is. Maybe this is somebody who's giving you more ideas or who is willing to help you for no pay, or really just being very generous with their time and their expertise. So I think it's saying really make sure that you're open to receiving, but also with withholding, that's making me think that a lot of you haven't really shared this idea with many people. So maybe that's why this creative partner is going to be very significant for you, is that they're going to kind of push you in that new direction or give you the piece of the puzzle that was missing. And now you'll be able to start sharing that with people as well. You have vitality. Vitality is the beaming force that gives energy and vigor to life. So yeah, I think you're definitely feeling a lot more inspired, a lot more energetic. Just things start feeling like they're coming together. And I love that she's standing on a star too, because that's making me think of like creative power and hope coming back, and even like performing, if some of you are performers and that's the creative stuff that you're working on. So I feel like you're just really in your power at this moment. You have You Are Magic, number 1. So yeah, I think you're definitely recognizing your own personal power, your magic, your uniqueness as well. So I think that is probably something that's been missing, is maybe you've been feeling disappointed with what you've been able to create, and now you're recognizing what you're good at and like in what ways you're able to bring kind of your unique self into your creative projects and into the world. Success in Transformation, number 13. And number 13 is the Death card in tarot as well, which is also transformation. So I feel like ending one way of doing things and moving into a new way, because you do have that transitioning energy. So I feel like a lot of you are moving maybe from one kind of endeavor to another. You're ending one project, moving into a new one, ending one method of doing things and moving into a different method. But I feel like overall you are going to have success in changing the way that you do things. That's really the key here. And then you have the Good Kind, number 35. So this card to me usually refers to being kind to people, really recognizing the good in everybody, the good in yourself, being kind to yourself as well, not kind of tearing yourself apart if you feel like you're like the results of what you're working on are not living up to what you've expected or what you've hoped for. Just recognizing that just because something isn't turning out yet, or you haven't seen success, or something needs a lot of editing, it doesn't mean that you're not worthwhile. And then finally you have Success. I succeed. I only succeed. There's no such thing as failure, so I'm eliminating that F-bomb from my vocab. Missing the bullseye isn't failure, it's how I learn to better my aim. And if we really want to get into it, there should be no such thing as a bullseye anyway, because sometimes wandering in an unexpected direction leads you to the best darn parts of being alive. So F off bullseyes, whole different F-bomb. So yeah, okay, success is definitely prevalent here. You have 3 different cards that mention success, so I do feel like you are going to be successful in this. And then wandering in an unexpected direction. So I think that is key here, is moving in a direction you never expected yourself to move in, trying something new, meeting somebody new, doing things differently. That's really going to bring your creativity alive again. Let's get your charms now, group 1, so that we can get some more detailed information. And then I'm using the heart so we can figure out kind of what's in the heart of the situation, anything where you need to put your focus or like a really big theme going on right now. So group 1, some creative advice for you. Okay, so the X was in the heart. It kind of flew out once I dropped some other stuff in there, but X is making me think of like Xing something out, cutting something from your life. Again, cutting out an old way of doing things, making sure that you're seeing those new ways as well. And it also could refer to an ex, maybe an ex-friend, romantic interest, like just somebody who was in your life, isn't in your life. Maybe they're coming back. Maybe they are that creative counterpart for you. But overall, I think it's something that's being cut from your life. And then number 10 is important here, so maybe October or the 10th of a month could be significant, but 10s are also completion, like ending one cycle completely and then starting that new cycle. So I do feel like a lot of you, something is coming to a close and you have to let it close, and that's really how your creativity is going to spark again. And then the teapot always makes me think of friendship and really working together with people, even just like getting together and just chatting, that might spark some creativity for you. Maybe you're not going to expect this person to be the creative partner you thought, or to give you that burst of inspiration that you've been hoping for. Let's see. So you've got a number 3 here as well, so that might be a significant number for you. that could be a date, it could be the month of March, it could be just a lucky number. But 3 also makes me think of collaboration, so working with a group, teamwork, that kind of thing. So I think that being open to teamwork is going to be important, because I feel like some of you are probably very independent, feel like nobody can necessarily give you new ideas, or you don't want them to give you new ideas. You're really wanting to do it on your own. But I think maybe that's the kind of new endeavor you need to look towards, is working together with people, because you'll be able to achieve more that way. Because I think a lot of you are at a crossroads. You're not really sure which direction to go in. I think a lot of you are starting to recognize the beauty in yourselves, the beauty in your creativity and in the world around you, and then that's going to give you an extra spark. So maybe spending some more time in nature will give you some extra inspiration as well. A more peaceful time is coming, so that's really great, because I feel like a lot of you have just felt very stuck, very, maybe you've had some tumultuous periods in your life recently as well. You have the sun and moon, so I always feel like the sun is starting to kind of eclipse the moon, so the good thing is coming in and kind of getting rid of the bad, or clarity is coming when things have been foggy and mysterious and you've just been taken over by fear. You're starting to release that. You've got attachments to some things that I think you're going to have to let go of. This basket always makes me think of abundance, so I feel like you've got tons of ideas. You've got so much that you want to do, but maybe you're just having trouble figuring out what to do with it, or what direction to go in, what to focus on. You've got your mask on, so I do think that has to do with that, whatever it was, the card that was just saying not revealing things. Let's see what the withholding, that's what it said. So I feel like you have been kind of withholding your true self. You've been maybe worried about what other people would think, or feeling like you didn't really want to expose yourself to people yet. Like you just felt maybe like something wasn't ready, or like, you know, you just didn't want it to kind of mess with your energy or mess with the project and make you feel badly about it when you've been really motivated for it, you know, just things like that. I do think that some communication and information is coming in for you that's going to change the game for you as well. And there's a lot about like believing in magic too, because you have the little like Mickey Mouse key here. So that always makes me think of like the key to magic, and then the genie lamp. So making a wish, having it come true, things being very like feeling like things are like you're in a fantasy, but it's coming true, you know, that kind of energy. And then you've got a lot of kind of mystery surrounding this, but I do think you have a lot of support around you, even if you can't see it right now. You've got clarity coming, even if you feel like things are so foggy right now, but I do think that things are going to clear up for you very, very soon. So group 1, I hope that this resonates. I would love to hear if it does, so make sure that you leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button for me and subscribe to my channel if you've not already done so. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hi group 2, so if you chose guidance for your card, then this is your message. Let's figure out some creative advice for you. We're going to start with your tarot and oracle cards and then do charms at the end, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. For your tarot, you have love, choice, and trust, so that's like the Lover's card. King of Feathers, so King of Swords, logic, justice. Ace of Feathers, mental clarity, foundation. And then transformation, so the Death card, transition and liberation. So, I mean, mental clarity is always good with that Ace of Feathers, so I feel like something is going to clear up. You might have been feeling just very stuck, very like foggy, not really sure what direction to go in, and now you're getting that idea, you're getting that clarity, like you know where to go. And I think it's because you're starting to act a little bit more logically rather than being driven by passion or feeling a bit more aimless. I think you're like, all right, you know what, I'm going to strategize, I'm going to do this in a way that is a lot more kind of structured. You know, I feel like if that's not something that you usually do, maybe that's a good suggestion for you, is to structure your time, you know, make yourself a schedule. I think trusting that things will happen if you start to work from that logical mindset, from that very structured, scheduled mindset as well. Because I feel like a lot of people, myself included, who are creative, oftentimes it's harder to really structure our time because you can't just like will creativity into being. But I think structuring your time gives you that space to be creative, and I think it does train your brain to start being creative. And you know, the more you start working on something, the more that is going to come from that, because I feel like if you just kind of wait around for inspiration all the time, nothing often comes, or it comes so sporadically you don't do anything with it, you know. But that's just kind of me getting on my soapbox for a little bit. But and then with love, choice, and trust, I feel like you'll either have to make a choice regarding this. Maybe that choice is to structure your time or to do things differently or to narrow down your focus so that you're not working on a million things at once, but just focusing on one thing. But it also just says to trust that the right things for you will come. I feel like a lot of you maybe aren't sure what like kind of sits well with you. Maybe you have so many creative endeavors that you can't really figure out where to put your focus. So I think trusting that the right thing's going to come in, that the more you work, the more that will result from that. And I think things will start to transform for you. And I think just freeing yourself from whatever kind of burden you're putting on yourself, because I feel like a lot of you have very high expectations for yourselves. You're expecting a lot, but you're not necessarily putting in the structured work to make it happen, just because you feel like, what if I fail? Or, you know, what if things don't turn out? And I think this kind of clarity is needed in just cutting out everything that isn't working and moving forward that way. But let's see what your oracle cards have to say. So you have receive, be open to receiving goodness, believe you are worthy of abundance, a gift is coming to you soon. So I think a lot of you are needing to be receptive. Maybe somebody else has an idea or a way of doing things. Maybe that's what you're resisting right now, is that somebody has said, hey, you know, structure your time. And like you've heard that advice over and over. I feel like a lot of you might be like rolling your eyes at that and saying, you know, that doesn't work for me. But trust in that guidance, because I feel like a lot of the time that comes from people who have had success or who have done more and or like been where you have been, you know, like that they were also the type who didn't really want to structure their time, and they're going, hey, you know what, it works even if it doesn't seem like it will, because you do have that guidance card. So I feel like trusting in that guidance that people are bringing to you is going to be important, and just recognizing that you might have to start doing things a little differently. It might not mean, you know, cut out the creative process, but just structure that creative process so that you make time for it as well. You have the Fire Prince, optimism, aggression, number 40. So I think being optimistic is going to be important. The fire energy always makes me think of passion, but a lot of the time, like even in this, it's kind of unbridled passion, especially when it comes to aggression. So I feel like a lot of you are very passionate, but it's lacking direction, it's lacking a focus. And I think some of you do maybe get a little aggressive, not like in a horrible way, but just maybe you tend to snap back at people if they're saying, oh, you know, make sure you're structuring your time, or like, hey, what have you done? You know, have you tried this? And you get maybe defensive about that. So this is just saying, try not to do that, try to focus and recognize that people are trying to help, and trusting in that guidance as well, especially if it's people who have gone farther than you. I think that's an important thing, to be able to trust their guidance. And then if it doesn't work for you, you can always try something else. But there's no harm in trying something different, you know. And I think giving people the benefit of the doubt and knowing that they're trying to help you and they're not doing it to bring you down or to hurt you is going to be important as well. You have courage. Courage is the strength to stand up when it's easier to fall down. So I wonder if some of you are even kind of on the verge of giving up on this creative endeavor, and there are people who are like, you know what, don't give up, keep going, but you just have to change the way you do things. So, and courage goes really well with this fiery energy as well. So I do feel like a lot of you are feeling like, you know, if it hasn't come to me already, it's never going to come. And that's not necessarily the case. You just might need to go at it with a different strategy, because that King of Feathers is all about strategy. Befriend the word polarize, number 25. So maybe some of you are holding back because you know that what you have to create is not going to be meant for everyone. And this is just saying, you know what, people are going to love your stuff and people are going to hate your stuff. So try not to please anybody else. Just do what feels right to you. You know, like don't worry about how people are necessarily going to take it. Because I feel like a lot of the time the best art is polarizing, because if you try to please everybody, it tends to be a lot more shallow. You know, there's not a lot of depth to it, and I feel like you are probably somebody with a lot of depth, and you explore kind of corners of the human experience that a lot of people don't even acknowledge. So just try not to be afraid of being polarizing. And then you have accept and receive, number 24. So yeah, again, receive, recognizing that it's okay to receive guidance. You don't have to shut it down. You don't have to feel weaker because somebody knows more than you. You know, just take everything with that kind of beginner's mind. Just accept any knowledge that comes your way, because I feel like it's easy to shut it down feeling like we should know that already. But in this case, I feel like just being receptive to someone else's guidance doesn't mean that you have to necessarily do it only their way, but I feel like it's just another tool to add to your toolbox so that then you have that to use when in the future you need to kind of go at it with that kind of strategy, and then you have something else in your toolbox for when you have to go at it with a different kind of strategy. But just accepting anything that people have to give you, not being particular about it, just accepting it, keeping it in mind, but not necessarily letting it rule the way that you are creative. You have proliferation. I put quality control on hiatus and welcome prolific quantity with untamed delight. Quality's cool at some parties, but not when it invites its friend, paralyzing scrutiny. So for now, I'll let my ideas proliferate like grass, and rather than agonize over every tiny blade, I'll let the whole darn field spring up. Once we're having a picnic, no one's going to care what those blades are up to anyway. So yeah, I feel like a lot of you are probably holding back from doing anything because you feel like, if I haven't achieved it yet, or if it's not perfect, I'm not going to do it at all. And I identify with that. I tend to be a perfectionist, so I definitely feel that. It's hard to create something when in the process it feels like crap, but I don't know if anybody else has heard of, I believe it's Anne Lamott talks about the shitty first draft, that the first step in anything is to just kind of brain dump, just get it out of your head onto paper, out of your head onto a canvas, like whatever it is, and then you can always go back and redo it and edit it, but just get it out first. Don't let it just simmer in your head because it's doing nobody any good there. So this is just saying just create and keep creating, just keep doing things, because I think a lot of you are holding back and wanting to be very perfect with your first try, and that's just not realistic. It's not going to happen. And this is going to ensure that you keep creating and just creating more and more, and then eventually you will get that good stuff, because this is how you practice, is just by creating stuff, even if it's bad at first. So I think that's why you have to structure your time, is just so you're forcing yourself to create things over and over and over, so that things do start getting better and better and better. And then, kind of going off that last point, imperfection. Today, I embrace the Japanese ideal of wabi-sabi, aka the perfection of imperfection, and bless my messes, my mistakes, my oops, that was supposed to be a lion but looks like a drunk raccoon. A perfect plan can only be so interesting, so thanks, Happy Accidents, for shaking things up and leading me on unplanned adventures. I'll pay you 10% when my drunk raccoon stationery business takes off. So yeah, I feel like just not being so hard on yourself, allowing yourself to be imperfect, and then seeing where that leads you. Because I think a lot of the time feeling like something has to be perfect and it has to look like it looks like in your head is kind of cutting out part of the process that is so important, and that's just getting it out, getting it into existence. Because I think a lot of you are preventing whatever you're creating from being brought into existence because you're so worried about how it's going to look or what people are going to think of it. You don't want people to be upset by it, or you don't want people to hate it. But just not being afraid of that, just getting it out and accepting it when it's imperfect, because that's what's more interesting anyway. Nobody wants perfection in art, because then there's no personality to it, there's no character to it. People don't identify with perfect because nobody is perfect. So the more imperfect it is, like the more that it just is reflecting your authentic thoughts, your authentic self, just whatever is coming out of your head, you get out into existence. I think that's what people are going to like more anyway, even if that's not the approach you're taking. You're not going out there to make people like it, you're just doing it because it's you. That's what you want to create. So let's get your charms now and get some more details. We are going to use the heart for some detail to figure out what's in the heart of the situation. So group 2, some creative advice for you. All right, so yeah, the ballerina landed in the heart, so that always talks about imperfection, being worried about being perfect, because I feel like with ballet, perfection always seems to be the goal, and I feel like you're worried about kind of messing up or putting a toe out of line, and that's scaring you. And then we have this flower, which is my symbol for like perfectly imperfect and the gift in imperfection. And I know that's the title of a book as well. I'm not trying to steal that. That's just kind of a phrase I've been using. But just allowing imperfection to exist and encouraging it to exist, encouraging your kind of deepest, most authentic self to emerge, even if it doesn't look perfect. So I think that that's something that's really holding a lot of you back. And I think that embracing that sense of imperfection is going to be what frees you. Yeah, you have 11, so that could be a significant number for a lot of you. It could be like the month of November or a date that might be significant. And you also have 20, so maybe November 20th. 20 could also just be, again, a significant date for a different month, or it could be like a significant time. At 2011 also, like the year might have been significant for a lot of you. Maybe that's the last time that you did something creative, or that's when something started or ended, but that's going to vary for a lot of you. We have the word crazy and the word happy. Those two all together always make me think of crazy happy, like you're going to be unbelievably happy with whatever is created, but that also makes me think of being happy with whatever comes out, you know, that imperfect, just messed up, goofy stuff that comes out of you. That is going to be what makes you happiest. That's going to feel the most true to you as well. I think a lot of you are really caught up in your sense of self-worth. You're feeling like you're not enough, but you are, even if you just don't feel like you have enough. This is making me think of like practice makes perfect, because I feel like, you know, with martial arts, you have to keep practicing and practicing and practicing until you achieve and like kind of go up a level. So I feel like a lot of you are preventing your growth by not wanting to practice because you just feel like it should be perfect already, because you've watched other people, you feel like your taste is up there with people, but you just feel like what you're creating isn't at the level that you want it to be. So that's why the key to this is practice. We've got this like blossoming flower here. So yeah, I feel like just allowing yourself to grow and blossom, nurturing yourself is going to be important. Not allowing like haters to get at you, because this always makes me think of having like a bubble of joy and happiness kind of around you, and not letting anybody penetrate that bubble just with their words or their criticisms. Sorry, I just hit the table. We've got the mermaid here kind of sitting and waiting for her dreams to come true. So I feel like that's what you've been doing, is like waiting for things to just happen for you instead of going after them. We've got this bunny, and yes, he's missing a leg. He wasn't initially, but this always makes me think of like puppeteering, because it looks kind of like a little puppet. So I feel like making sure that you're not feeling like people are like puppeteering you. I feel like a lot of you are avoiding getting guidance from people just because you feel like then you're going to be puppeteered instead of being authentic to yourself. And I feel like that's kind of what's holding you back, but you don't necessarily have to let people puppeteer you. It just means, hey, here's another way of doing things. Try it out. You know, it doesn't mean that you have to do everything that way or you have to follow someone's advice exactly. It's just more knowledge to kind of add to your toolbox, like I was saying. And then you have the crescent moon. So I do feel like fear is holding you back. You're very intuitive as well, but I feel like you are kind of avoiding listening to your intuitive nudges, so make sure that you are listening to that. And then back to the bunny, it's also making me think of the Velveteen Rabbit and like the what is real kind of thing, and just that imperfect sense of love. You know, it's extra fitting because he's missing a leg, and the Velveteen Rabbit was kind of worn down and like looking very imperfect at some point, but the thing is that shows how much it's loved. So I feel like that's kind of a sign for a lot of you too, is that imperfection is showing how much of yourself, how much love is going into it. So group 2, I hope that this resonates. I would love to hear if it does, so please leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you've not already done so. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hi group 3, so if you chose timing for your card, then this is your message. So let's figure out some creative advice for you. We're going to start with your tarot and oracle cards and then do your charms at the end, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. So for your tarot, you have 4 of feathers, sanctuary and rest, so that's the 4 of swords. 5 of crystals or 5 of pentacles, persistence, new possibilities. Queen of feathers, perception and truth. And then 2 of feathers, decisions and direction. So a lot of like feathers or swords energy here, so that's a lot of mental energy. I'm definitely feeling like you need to take a rest because you're feeling that sense of lack right now. Maybe things are very stagnant at the moment. You're just feeling like nothing is happening. And I know 5 of crystals in this deck is saying persistence and new possibilities. So I love that approach because 5 of pentacles often is showing that sense of lack, that feeling of being left out in the cold, just feeling like you have nothing. But then with the 4 of feathers, it's making me think of just take a rest, try not to push too hard. And 2 of feathers right now is making me think of like hold off on making a decision. Usually to me it's saying like you are holding off on making a decision, but I feel like right now that's the advice for you, is try not to make a decision immediately. I think that you are going to figure out what the truth is, what you want. You're very I don't want to just say intuitive, because yes, you're intuitive, but I feel like this is very intelligent and wise as well. Just, you know, kind of what's going on. You're able to decipher what's happening. And I feel like maybe you know that you will get there. New possibilities will emerge, but you just kind of have to wait, especially because we have that timing card. So I feel like timing is going to be significant in your situation. But let's see what your oracle cards have to say. So you have support. Ask for help, get more rest, nurture yourself. Okay, yeah, get more rest. I think that that's a huge part of this. I feel like a lot of you might be feeling burnt out. You've been pushing yourself a lot, or you just feel like you haven't been able to end up refreshed. So I think taking a rest is going to be important. I think a lot of you are just feeling like worn out, like just worn down, like you're really trying and you're just not seeing any possibilities right now. So that's fine. I think that's a signal that it is time to rest. You'll make the decision once it's time, and I think that you can trust yourself to know when that right time is. You have possibility. Raise your standards, elevate your expectations. You have unlimited potential. And we have the Five of Crystals, which says new possibilities. So I think you have a lot of new possibilities coming in. I think, again, it's just a matter of time, like waiting kind of for those possibilities to show up, but you'll know. So I think just keeping an eye out for it, recognizing that you can do whatever you're setting out to do, but just not pushing yourself to jump into a situation that doesn't feel right, or like begging for opportunities when you're feeling like none are coming up. I think that they are going to come kind of trickling in and then flooding in for you, but you just have to be patient and allow that to happen. And right now, just take advantage of this time to rest, because I do think things are going to start picking up for you, and that's why it's really emphasizing to rest, because I think you're not going to get a lot of rest in the future. You know, a lot more work is going to be done soon. You have the Queen of the Light, illumination, enlightenment, celebration, number 15. So yeah, I think things are going to be illuminated. You're going to see what's going on. You're going to know kind of what's right for you. There's a lot of like brightness in a few of your cards here too, with this possibility too. So I feel like you're going to see those possibilities. Things are going to clear up and you're going to recognize it. And I think it is going to be something worth celebrating. You're going to recognize that it's right for you. It's going to bring you some abundance. Like, it's just going to feel good to you. So just take this time to kind of retreat and check in with yourself as well. And then you have the Desert Prince, survival, false promises, number 19. So yeah, I think you might be kind of in survival mode right now. You're just not feeling inspired. You're not feeling creative. You don't feel like there's anything going on for you right now. Maybe you have had some opportunities that have come up and then fallen through, and that's maybe bringing you down. You know, it's like making you just feel like, oh, I don't know if I can keep doing this. But I do think that, you know, things are going to turn around. This is just one chapter of your story right now. So I think just allowing yourself to rest, retreat, you know, make sure that you're hydrating, treat your body well, just take this time to nurture yourself. You have clarity. Clearing your mind brings you closer to your sacred inner wisdom. So this is bringing me two messages. Clarity is making me think things are going to clear up for you. We've already talked about that. And then again, clearing your mind brings you closer to your sacred inner wisdom. So I think recognizing that meditation might be needed, just allowing yourself to not be stressing about things, just clearing all of those expectations out and just allowing your mind to rest as well. Because I think a lot of you have minds that just go and go and go. And this is saying allow that to just come to a rest for a little while. You have unstick the stuck, number 46. So I think you are going to get unstuck. I think that's something that you're worried about, is that you are feeling very stuck, but that's going to clear up for you. You're not going to be feeling stuck forever. Change maker, make waves, number 45. So I do think that whatever you do is going to change some things. Like it's going to, I think, change your life, and it's going to change kind of the world around you as well. I feel like you've got like little seeds of ideas somewhere, and you kind of know that, but they're just not coming to fruition yet. So part of that too could be that you haven't had the experiences yet that are going to inform this creative project. I think a lot of the time we just have to go through certain experiences before we can create something specific. And I think that's what you're missing, is that there's something else that has to happen before you can really get going on whatever this is. And then you also have in balance, number 14. So I think bringing yourself in balance, making sure that you are like nurturing yourself and kind of meditating, clearing your mind, doing whatever it takes to kind of take care of your mental health as well, and making sure that your body feels balanced, that you're not just allowing things, like not allowing your body to stagnate, because I feel like a lot of you need rest, but I think part of that rest is nurturing yourself too. It's not just kind of disintegrating, if that makes sense, but just like an active rest, if that makes sense, like just really nurturing yourself, making sure that you're feeding yourself well, that you're hydrating yourself, that you're exercising, but not pushing yourself. I think that that's really kind of what's coming through, is just try not to push yourself. Give yourself this time to just collect yourself and regroup. And then finally you have surrender, which is perfect for this timing card. I surrender control and allow every brainchild to be exactly what it is. I don't push him or pull him or force him into well-starched neckties. I let them forge their own path. Turns out brain children are a lot like real children. You can guide them and nudge them and try to convince them to be sensible, because for God's sake, living out of a van isn't always as romantic as it sounds, but they'll go where they want to. And smelly van or not, isn't that a beautiful thing? So I think, yeah, just trying not to push your creativity to happen, allowing it to be still a little bit, allowing yourself to nurture yourself so that your creativity can flourish again. Because I feel like a lot of you are pushing yourself to be more creative and to keep working. And I think it's saying, you know what, if you're feeling burnt out, take a break. Make sure that you're nurturing other aspects of your life, bring yourself back into balance, and surrender to the process, because I think things are going to start coming together. You are going to get what you need to be creative again, but you can't push it and will it into existence. It's just going to happen in its own time. So let's get your charms now and get some more detailed information. We're going to use the heart to figure out what's in the heart of the situation. So group 3, some creative advice for you. And I dropped one on the mat, so let me get that too. So on the mat we have the number 23, so that could be a significant date, significant number for you, just kind of coming through. In the heart we have the circle, so I feel like things happening in cycles is really what it's making me think of. So you have your ups and your downs, and honestly when you're down, a lot of the time that means it's time to rest and recharge, and then you can get your energy back. It's like moon phases too, so some of you might even be trying to be creative kind of along with the moon phases. And you have the fairy with the little like berry or whatever it is that she's bringing here. So I do feel like you are going to be given a gift somehow, like from the universe, from somebody else, but there's kind of a little nugget of information that you're waiting on. I don't think you know that you're waiting on it necessarily, but you're waiting for something. But something is going to come in, and that's going to be kind of the game changer. That's going to bring you what you need to start being much more creative in the future. You have Capricorn energy here. I have no idea which way this is supposed to go. I think it is this way. I just know it's Capricorn. But that might be a significant zodiac sign for you. Capricorn makes me think of ambition and work. So I do feel like Capricorns have a hard time resting. So I think that's an extra message to be making sure you're resting. And you also have Taurus energy here, and the Taurus charm says trustworthy on the back. So there might be some trustworthy people helping you out, who are willing to kind of help nurture you as well. I feel like a lot of the time you have good friends who are there to just kind of recharge with you and to give you like pep talks and stuff. I feel like that might be something you need. But Taurus is also making me think of like self-care, because I feel like Tauruses are often much better at self-care than other people. So maybe that's something you really need to nurture in yourself, is working on that self-care and just taking care of yourself and making sure you're not pushing yourself to the point of burnout. You have this little kind of devil face, so yeah, that was kind of laying on top of the Taurus there. So I do feel like a lot of you do have a hard time with that. You're hard on yourself. Maybe you feel like it's bad to take care of yourself or too selfish, but really you can't take care of anybody else or take care of your work or anything if you are completely burnt out. Because it's like, charging your phone. You have to make sure it's charged, and if you let it kind of deplete the whole way and it just shuts off, you have to wait a little while after you plug it in before it will turn back on, before it has enough power to do anything again. It takes longer, versus if you keep making sure that it is charged and like make sure that you're maintaining that charge, you're going to be able to use it more frequently. The lawnmower, again, makes me think of maintenance. So more self-care, more making sure that your body is okay, that you're like cleaning a little bit, you know, not like hardcore purging kind of clean, but just, again, maintenance, making sure that everything is like that your environment is healthy for you as well. You have the bowler hat and the top hat, so I feel like a lot of you are maybe not feeling worthy of what you want, but you are very hard workers with that bowler hat. So there could be like class issues, or like you feel like you don't have enough money to achieve what you want, but this is just saying you can. You can live your dream, but it's just you have to trust in yourself and allow things to happen when they will, you know, allow that cycle to occur. So when you're feeling burnt out, make sure you're resting, recharging. That's like the big message that's coming through. We have the thimble here, so talking about trying to protect yourself, or a lot of you might be really trying to hustle to get money made so that you have like a financial cushion. That's kind of what I'm getting for a lot of you. You've got the cherries here, so treating yourself a little bit, enjoying the sweet little things in life, appreciating the small things as well. I feel like a lot of you just need to slow down and kind of take a look at the world around you and just enjoy what is there. And then you have this little kind of snobby cat. So this is just making me think of like turning your nose up at something. So there might be someone around you that you feel like has kind of turned their nose up at your creative work, and that might be something that kind of brought you down. Or you might be turning your nose up at taking care of yourself, or at an opportunity that's presented itself, and maybe you're beating yourself up about that now. There's just a few variations on that right now. I just feel like that's an energy that's kind of prominent in this at the moment, or like kind of a side energy that's affected you, that I just feel like your mind has been ruminating on that, whatever this is like happening, if it's you turning something down or if it's somebody who turned you down. So just, again, try to give your brain a break, you know, give yourself some mental rest from that situation as well. And I think that that's going to help you recharge so that you can be creative again once the time is right. So group 3, I hope that this resonates. I would love to hear if it does, so please leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you've not already done so. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.